The great Bob Uecker has passed away at the age of 90. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's hitting me hard. I never met the man, but he's been such a big part of my fandom. I remember reading his autobiography, Catcher in the Rye. That's W-R-Y. I never read J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, but I sure as hell read Bob Uecker's when I was probably 14 years old. And Bob Uecker has been one of my favorite figures, not only in baseball, but in the world of sports during my entire life. Just a funny man, proof that it's not just the good that die young. Sometimes they live to the ripe old age of 90. Bob Uecker, beloved, I think, by all of us, and certainly someone that I've tweeted about a lot through the years on Super 70 Sports. You can see here, I tweeted, I think just months ago, that if you made a list of the 10 greatest baseball announcers of all time, Bob Uecker's on it twice as two different people. There he is, of course, as the great Harry Doyle, the voice of the fictional Cleveland Indians that won the American League East in 1989 with Jake Taylor and Pedro Serrano and Willie Mays Hayes, Ricky Vaughn, all of those names. But Bob Uecker kind of stole that movie, if we're being honest, in the role that he had as Harry Doyle, the beleaguered voice of the Indians, who was jaded by years and years of failures in Cleveland. Bob, in real life, was the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. And this past season, we saw how much he meant to the team. They actually delayed their celebration this year until Bob Uecker made it down to the clubhouse so that they could celebrate with him. And when they got knocked out of the playoffs, you could hear it in Bob's voice that it knocked the wind out of his sails. Even at the age that he was a guy's guy. He related to the players. He was throwing batting practice as recently as when he was in his 60s or 70s, I believe, if not older. And he just loved baseball. He was truly a baseball lifer, a witty man, and a kind man. In my life, I have mailed a baseball to one person ever. And I sent a baseball probably about 15 years ago to Miller Park in Milwaukee, addressed it to Bob Uecker, Miller Park, put a return envelope in there, and I just thought, well, I don't know. Maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. And figured, I'll never see it again, but it was just kind of a fun thing to do. And lo and behold, I went to the mailbox one day about 3 or 4 months later, and there was this big bulky package in there. I pulled it out. I was thinking, what the hell is this? And it was Bob Uecker. Signed my baseball on the sweet spot, and I have it on display in my office. Certainly a super sky point today to Bob Uecker. Anytime one of the heroes of my past, when we lose them, it hurts. This one extra hurts. And here you can see an emotional Bob Uecker on the field after the loss in September. Here he is, a part of the celebration. And you can see there how much it means to Bob, how much it means to those Brewers players, even though they're so many years younger than him. Here he is on the field, if we can get a look at that.
Batting practice that I used to be able to throw was really great. It was really fun because I threw to the same guys for probably 15 years. And every day, that was my job. Go down, throw batting practice, get dressed, take a shower. Sometimes I didn't shower. And go back upstairs and do the game. But that's what I did. I mean, I don't even know now if I peed in my pants or if this is champagne. I don't know. I have to wait to find out. So everything's good.
He was Bob Uecker right until the very end. And much like Vin Scully, not only did he broadcast into his 90s, but he did it damn well. As some of you know, if you listen to Brewers telecast, there was never a, oh, this is sad, I wish that Bob would pack it in. It's we love him, but he's gone on too long. There was none of that. Bob Uecker was at the top of his game all the way through the 2024 season. And man, we'll miss a lot of the legends of our childhood, but Bob Uecker, I think, is in a special category, certainly for me. Let's take a listen to the great Bob Uecker's last call from this past September on the radio, the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, New York down, they did it, and the crew will have it end here tonight.
Really a crushing end to what was a fabulous season for the Milwaukee Brewers.
I'm telling you, that one had some sting on it.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it, crap! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
You know, they actually have a statue of Bob Uecker at, look, I still call it Miller Park. It's something else now. I can't keep up with all these corporate names. I mean, Miller Park was a corporate name. But at the stadium in Milwaukee, they actually have a Bob Uecker statue high up in the cheap seats. Tim, if you want to take a look for that, maybe we can pop that up later. But that's how iconic that commercial was. There's a statue in a major league ballpark that is an honor to Uecker based on that. But I must be in the front row. I guess at the end of the day, Bob Uecker said a lot of incredibly witty things in his life, but I suppose that is the one that he's most known for, without any question about it. With that, I'm going to go ahead now and bring in OutKick Senior Director of Content. He is the great Joe Kinsey, the commissioner of the Thursday Night Mowing League. And Joe, I'm sure that you, like myself, are kind of stomach punched a little bit by this one.
Ricky, I typically drink Kirkland beer from Costco because that's who I am now. But today it will be Miller Lite. It's a Thursday night. I mean, I can't think of anything more than dumping one out for a legend, the Bob Uecker, just the genius of Bob Uecker. In all the commercials, it's sad to see him go. You know, Tom Rinaldi did that special on Fox over the summer. I've watched it like 3 or 4 times. I almost cry every single time. It's great theater. Tom Rinaldi always sucking the tears right out of my head.
Man, I was saying that he's most going to be remembered for I Must Be in the Front Row, but another contender is Just a Bit Outside.
Yeah,
that's right up there as well.
Growing up in Ohio, Ricky, I mean, Major League was the movie. I hated the Indians. I was a Reds fan, but Bob Uecker made the Indians funny, right? Like, it made the Indians being horrible in the 80s something you could root for. And that movie is indelible to society here in Ohio. And, people in Cleveland are really taking this news hard. And, we're going to miss him. It's one of the greats, Ricky. How many greats do we have left? We don't have broadcasting greats anymore. And we're losing too many of them. Here in Ohio, Ricky, we lost our play-by-play guy in Toledo. He had worked 6,000 straight games, Ricky. Those days are over. Those guys don't exist anymore. So it's really rough to lose Bob Uecker.
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe. He is, one of the last of a dying breed. That's the statue outside the ballpark, but he also has a statue inside the ballpark as well. And you can see that Miller Lite can out there. Bob has 2 statues. Tim, look for the one inside the ballpark. There's a statue of him in a seat, and you can sit next to it during a game. It's crazy. Joe, have you ever seen it?
I've never been there.
That is inside that park.
I've never been there.
Yeah. It's up in the upper deck. It is high up in the upper deck. I've been to it. I've gone to it. But yeah, you can sit right there next to Bob Uecker if you have the right ticket.
You got to stay on brand, Ricky.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But yeah, how many people get 2 statues? That says something. But so many lines in Major League. You know, I look back at it. One of my favorites was Willie Mays Hayes, and he says, "We don't know where Hayes played last year, but I'm sure he did a hell of a job." And it's just so smooth. And he gently mocked his own profession. I think in a way, you know, as much as he was providing comedy for the movie, but there will never be another. I mean, it's this, when we say that somebody is one of a kind, that's probably overdone. There's probably not as many people that we pretend are unicorns, but Bob Uecker was a unicorn. I don't think that you can question it. Okay.
No doubt.
I believe Tim is getting that statue, and there you go. Yeah, you can go up there and sit down next to him in section 422 of the stadium. I guess you can't sit there for the whole game.
Is that very good, Bob? Like, I don't know. That looks a little, I don't know. Bob just died, but
I'm not
that
sure.
Statue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's close. It's close enough. Close enough, I guess, Joe.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.